Shalom. First off, I'd like to give an all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Yahweh, who the world really calls God, in the name of Yahushai, who the world really calls Jesus Christ. Secondly, I'd like to give a double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, who continue to teach us this truth. And a salutations to Yuakim out there doing the work of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai sincerely. All right, the name of this lesson is the CBDC or MOTB. All right, we're going to get right to it. This is an article from the McKinsey and Co. Yeah, McKinsey and Company. It's like a financial, like a financial newsletter. It says, what is central bank digital currency? It says CBDCs are digital currencies issued by central banks, and their value is linked to the issuing country's official currency. It says, when was the last time you paid for something with cold, hard cash? While physical currency is still widely used all around the world, people in some countries have been using it a lot less, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, with its cash shortages and hygiene concerns. As people shift away from cash, many are increasingly turning to digital financial transactions. Globally, banks and financial institutions process far more transactions digitally than they do in physical branches. A variety of recent digital disruptions, including the emergence of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, have made waves in the financial services sector. Digital currencies are a part of that story, and central banks have started to take note. Central bank digital currencies are the digital form of a government-issued currency that isn't pegged to a physical commodity. They are issued by central banks whose role is to support financial services for a nation's government and its commercial banking system, set monetary policy, and issue currency. Examples of examples of central banks include U.S. Federal Reserve System, the Bank of Japan, the People's Bank of China, and Germany's Deutsche Bundesbank. It says CBDCs are similar to but not the same as stablecoins. Stablecoins are a specific type of private stabilized cryptocurrency pegged to another currency, commodity, or financial instrument, which is the goal of maintaining a relative stable value over time. Unlike cryptocurrencies, which are decentralized, CBDCs are state issued and operated. It says, what are the different types of CBDCs and where are they currently used? There is no type of CBDC. A wide variety of approaches are being piloted in various countries. One CBDC is an account-based model, such as Dcash, which is being implemented in the Eastern Caribbean. With Dcash, consumers hold deposit accounts directly with the central bank. At the opposite end of the spectrum, China's eCNY, a CBDC pilot that relies on private sector banks to distribute main digital currency accounts for their customers. China showcased eCNY during the 2022 Olympic Games in Beijing. Visitors and athletes can use the currency to make purchases within the Olympic Village. Another model is the one under consideration by the European Central Bank, which is in which licensed financial institutions each operate a permission node of a blockchain network as a conduit for distribution of a digital euro. A final model, popular with cryptophiles, but not yet fully trialed by central banks, is where fiat currency, the currency a government is issued but not backed by a commodity, would be issued as anonymous fungible tokens to protect the user's privacy. At present, 87 countries representing more than 90% of the GDP are exploring CBDCs. Here's a closer look. Jamaica's JamDex launched in June 2022 and is the first CBDC to be ratified formally as legal tender. Its relative simple offering with no advanced use cases, such as cross-border payment for smart contracts. JamDex isn't blockchain-based, unlike Bahamas Sand Dollar and the Eastern Caribbean central banks Dcash. Nigeria is the first African country to roll out um, a CBDC, launched e-Naira in October 2021. And it goes on and on and on. But we're going to get to the scriptures now. Now, this is essentially going to be a digital currency. Or this is going to be a digital currency that replaces cash and is fully under government control. And this is all part of the scriptures. This is all in the scriptures. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man may buy or sell, lest he save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. So what is this talking about? This is talking about something that you're not going to be able to. This is talking about something. All right. A mark, it says here, that's going to be in the right hand or in the forehead of someone who wants to buy or sell. If you don't have this, you won't be able to buy or sell because you're essentially not going to be part of the system. It says, Salaki, here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. Salakia. For it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. All right. Now, we've read the scripture many a times, but right now the scripture has the most significant impact. All right, the scripture is ringing a lot of bells, man. You have people, the so-called Christians, you have people from all walks, all right, from all so-called religious backgrounds, speaking on the scripture when it was released, when the information was released that the U.S. will be using something called FedNow, and it's going to be getting rid of things like Zelle and Cash App. All right, and this is just the beginning stages of this mark. So the word there for mark is charagma. All right, in the Strong's G5480, charagma. All right, and it means a stamp, an imprinted mark, a mark branded upon horses. In verse definition 2, it says, thing carved, sculpted, graven work of idolatrous imagery. All right, so here in Thayer's Greek lexicon, it says a stamp of an imprinted, a stamp and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead of the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. All right, this beast system. It says thing carved, sculpted, or graven work of idolatrous image. All right, and this is Strong's definition. It says charagma, the same as Strong's G5482, a scratch or etching. All right, when a scratch or an etching. Let me just look up this word etching real quick in the computer. I have a computer right in front of me. We're going to go on Google and look up the word etching. It says, let me see, definition. Etching, a print produced by the process of etching. It says the art process of producing etched plates or objects. And then here for etching, the similar is engraving, impression, plate, dry point, or cut. All right. And that was from the Google Dictionary. All right. So an etching, it cuts within something, within your right hand or your forehead. It says, as a badge of servitude or a sculpted figure, a graven or a mark. All right. Now, it referenced Strong's G5482, and the word there is karax, which says a pale or a stake or a palisade or a rampart, pales between which earth, stone, trees, timbers are heaped and packed together. So for Strong's definition here, it says carazo, to sharpen to a point. All right, so now what we have from here, from these definitions, we have etching from charagma. And now from carax, if we're looking at the Strong's definition, we have what? A palisade or a rampart, which is essentially a point. It says to sharpen to a point. All right, through the idea of scratching. All right, now we're going to look at the word here, grapho. All right, grapho, this is Strong's. It references similar, akin to G1125. So now we're going to go to G1125, grapho. All right, grapho means to write with reference in the form of letters, to delineate or form letters on a tablet, parchment paper, or material, to write with reference to the contents of the writing, to express writing in written characters, to commit to a writing, write down, record. Used of those things which stand written in sacred books. It says to write one, by writing, written epistles, give information, directions, to fill with writing, to draw up in response, to draw up in writing, compose. And now for Strong's, it says here, a primary verb to grave, especially write, figuratively to describe. All right? So essentially, when we're looking at this word mark, we're looking at an engraved, all right, an etching, a cut with a sharp device, all right, that's going to have essentially information in it. All right, and what is that information? All right, that information is going to be all your information. It's going to be all your, anything from your search history, your bank information, your medical history. Everything that you can think of is going to be written, all right, in this mark. You're not going to be able to buy or sell. You know, you might say something about someone in a high place. They might turn off your device. They might turn off your mark. All right. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. And it says, lest Satan shall get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right. And we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We see it. Anyone who's paying attention, man, even people in the world see it. They see that this CBDC is just the precursor or the backbone, the software backbone, and the main justification to implement this micro C-hit, as the apostle says. All right? We're not ignorant of his devices, man. We see what is going on. All right? This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitant and to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil it is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So the reason the so-called white man is moving so fast with this is because ultimately he knows, or rather the elite of the so-called white man know, that they have a short time. They have a short time to accomplish the so-called New World Order. And the only way that they're going to be able to accomplish the New World Order is if they do this. All right? That's the only way that they're going to be able to really get this done, is if they move fast. And not even get this done, because ultimately the Lord is gonna destroy them. The Lord is gonna catch them slipping, essentially, and he's gonna destroy them. But they know that they need to move fast. All right? There is an urgency to this. All right? Now we're gonna go and we're gonna look at I'm gonna take a pause here, and we're gonna look in part 2. We're gonna look at how Nigeria is doing with their CBDC currency.